You know that feeling when you have something really important to do, like genuinely important, deadline tomorrow, people counting on you, and instead of doing it, you reorganize your desk, you make a snack, you watch one video that turns into 47, you clean the bathroom, which you haven't cleaned in 3 weeks, by the way, but suddenly, right now, it needs to happen. And then at 1 a.m, with your heart racing, you finally start. And here's the weird part. You finish it in 2 hours, something you avoided for 2 weeks. So the question isn't whether you can do it. The question is, why didn't you just do it earlier? Because the answer is not what you think. Most people think procrastination is a time management problem. Like, you just need a better planner, a new app, a colour-coded calendar. That's what the internet will tell you. Wake up at 5 a.m, cold shower, eat a frog, be productive. And maybe you've tried some of that. Maybe it worked for a week, and then it didn't. Because here's the thing. Procrastination has nothing to do with time. It never did. Procrastination is an emotion management problem. And that completely changes everything. Here's what's actually happening inside your head. Your brain has two main systems that are constantly negotiating. There's the prefrontal cortex, the rational part, the part that knows the deadline is real, the task matters, and that future you will be miserable if present you doesn't start. And then there's the limbic system, the emotional part, ancient, fast, and completely uninterested in your career goals. The limbic system has one job: avoid discomfort, right now, immediately. And the moment you think about that task, the report, the email, the project, your brain scans it for emotional threat. Is this going to be boring? Stressful? What if I fail? What if it's not good enough? And if the answer is yes, even a little bit of yes, your limbic system goes, nope. And it redirects you to your phone, to snacks, to anything that feels better right now. Not because you're lazy, because your brain is doing exactly what it was built to do: protect you from discomfort. The problem is, it can't tell the difference between a tiger and a spreadsheet. So what are the specific emotions that trigger procrastination? Because it's not random. Researchers have identified the big ones, and you'll recognise all of them. Anxiety, the fear that you'll try and it won't be good enough. Boredom, the task just feels flat and unstimulating. Self-doubt, the quiet voice that says, who are you to think you can do this properly? Resentment, you don't actually want to do this. Someone else decided it mattered. And perfectionism, maybe the most sneaky one. Because perfectionism isn't really about high standards. It's about fear of judgment dressed up as high standards. You're not avoiding the work because you don't care. You're avoiding it because you care so much that starting feels genuinely terrifying. Sit with that for a second. Now here's where it gets interesting. Remember how we said you finished the thing at 1 a.m. in 2 hours? That wasn't willpower. That was a different emotional calculation. When the deadline is close enough, the discomfort of not doing it finally outweighs the discomfort of doing it. The anxiety of failing, of embarrassment, of real consequences, that gets louder than the anxiety of starting. And suddenly, your limbic system switches sides. Now, avoiding the task is the threat, and doing it is the escape. So it was never about motivation. It was never about discipline. It was always about which discomfort felt bigger in the moment. Your brain is just doing maths. Really bad, short-sighted maths. But maths. But here's the part nobody talks about. Every time you avoid something, even for a few hours, you feel relief. Brief, immediate, real relief. Your brain notices that. It goes, oh, avoidance worked. Felt bad, avoided it, felt better. Let's do that again. So the next time you face something uncomfortable, the pull to avoid it is even stronger, because your brain has now practiced avoidance. It's filed it under things that help. Meanwhile, the guilt builds. The task grows in your head. It starts to feel bigger than it actually is. And the bigger it feels, the more threatening it becomes. And the more threatening it becomes, the harder it is to start. That's the loop. Avoid, feel relief, task feels bigger, avoid again, repeat. It's not a character flaw. It's a learned pattern. And learned patterns can be unlearned. So if procrastination is an emotional problem, what actually helps? Not a new planner, not waking up at 5 a.m. The thing that actually shifts it is something called emotional awareness, which sounds soft, but it's not. It's the simple act of naming what you're actually feeling before you avoid. Instead of just reaching for your phone, pause for 5 seconds and ask, what specifically feels bad about this task right now? Am I scared it won't be good enough? Am I bored? Do I resent having to do this? Because the moment you name the emotion, it loses some of its power. Neuroscience actually has a term for this: affect labeling. When you put a word to a feeling, your prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, re-engages. You shift from being driven by the emotion to observing it. You don't have to fix the feeling. You just have to see it clearly enough that it stops steering. So here's what you actually know now. Procrastination is not laziness. It's not poor time management. It's not a personality trait you were born with. It's your brain doing what brains do, avoiding discomfort in the most immediate way available. The task isn't the problem. The feeling the task creates is the problem. And you can't solve a feeling with a productivity system. You solve it by understanding where it's coming from. Next time you find yourself reorganizing your desk instead of starting, don't judge yourself. Just get curious. Ask what you're actually avoiding, not the task, the feeling underneath it. That's a different question, and it leads somewhere completely different. That's KnowWhat. We don't do life hacks here. We just try to understand what's actually going on. If something clicked, you know what to do. And if it didn't, that's fine too. Come back when it does.